Good afternoon. My name is Callum and I'm product specialist for the equipment range here at Cellpath. Thank you all for joining today. I'm very excited to welcome you along to another webinar. Now, ideally, we would be meeting with all of you in person, but due to the current COVID-19 situation and the precautions that are in place, we have decided that the best way to bring our new range to you is via interactive webinars. Today, we are focusing on the on-demand smart cassette printers from Pyramid Innovations. And in this session, I'll provide you with a look at the key features and benefits of both of the printers. I'll also provide a walkthrough of how quick and easy it is to achieve the high quality print. Please feel free to type any questions into the chat bar during the session, and I'll look to answer these in the Q&A at the end of the webinar. So firstly, I'd like to talk about the fundamentals of marking a cassette and what we are trying to achieve. When we mark a cassette, whether it be by hand or by automation, we are applying traceability to each specimen. Each specimen that is unique to each patient. It is so important as we are talking about human diagnosis, and this traceability is so critical in the process. Now, in recent years, the way that we track specimens throughout their lifetime in the lab has changed significantly to adapt to the increasingly challenging environment of the pathology lab. Cassette printers have played a vital role in this tracking solution for many years now, but they are just an element of the solution as a whole. As with any component to a solution, we need to consider the wider factors and map our specimen's life cycle throughout the process to determine what information we require at each step. So to do this, we need to understand what we are looking to achieve from this solution. And in the case of tracking, we have three main goals. So goal number one is to ensure quality, to guarantee that each and every sample is received, diagnosed, and archived successfully. Goal two is to ensure that the quality of the work carried out is right first time, and we don't need to go back and rework specimens. And finally, goal number three is to ensure that all of this is carried out as efficiently as possible to meet the challenging turnaround times required for the diagnosis. Now, most cassette printers on the market will achieve these goals, but Pyramid Innovations printers have unique features that will enable further automation and provide the best use of the resource within the lab. So when talking about current practice in most histology labs, there are three main ways to print cassettes. We have batch printing, which requires someone to print all of the cases for the day in one session. There is the most common way of printing, which is small batch printing. And then we have the emerging way of thinking, commonly referred to as on-demand printing. Now, each lab will have their preferences on which way they print, and it's important to point out that the versatility of the Pyramid printers allows them to be used for any of these applications. However, you will see the best results and an increase in efficiency if you use these printers as on-demand printers. Now, you may be thinking, how is it more efficient to print one case at a time when I can print 5 cases at a time? But the reality is, if you have the right tools for the job, everything is possible. So please let me explain a little bit further. So the on-demand nature is a risk-free process. It eliminates the chance of picking up the wrong cassette, and there is no risk of misplacing a cassette, and there's certainly less time looking for the right cassettes among the tray of printed cassettes. So not all cassette printers out there can be used in this fashion. So there are some key features that are essential to make this work. So firstly, the printers need to be compact so that they can be placed at each cut-up station. The printers need to be fast, otherwise you'll be waiting too long for the cassettes to be printed. So this leads us to the Pyramid printer. And that will improve your tracking solution and are widely considered by many as the driver to the next generation of tracking. So as we can see, they have a very small footprint. We've used these daffodils to show the scale, as it's quite difficult to do that over video. And as we're a Welsh company, we thought it was fitting at this time of year to do so. So in the demos and installs that I have conducted, a lot of the lab staff are shocked initially at the size of the printer, but you know, they certainly do not lack in functionality. So if we add to the size with the print speed of around 4 seconds per cassette, it makes both printers ideal for printing on demand at the cut-up bench. And as I said, this will eliminate the risk of selecting wrong cassettes when printing batches, for example. So if the lab process didn't want to change, as I already mentioned, the printers can also print batches quicker than other options out there. So if we move, as I'm sure you've already seen, move over to the cassette printer, the multi-hopper version, it has 6 removable hoppers, allowing for the easy exchange of colors or variants. The cassettes are loaded via threads, as we can see here. And you simply insert these into the hopper and pull out the thread, and it's as easy as that to load. Now, this will save you valuable time in the lab in order to carry out more critical tasks, rather than the sort of manual loading of printers one by one with cassettes that takes a lot of time. So now we can move on to showcase the quality of what we can actually achieve. So you will see the hopper rotate as I press the hopper that I require to choose the correct cassette and print out. So if I ask Bryn to pick up the camera and show the quality that we're achieving. Thank you, Bryn. Thank you. I'm sure you also noticed there that the printer is extremely quiet, which is a nice change for the histology lab, as it won't interrupt any dictation or anything like that. So as we can see there, the print quality provides an extremely high quality print, and it's quick and it's easily readable. So it also produced a high resolution barcode, as I'm sure you saw. This barcode can contain up to 85 characters. Now you may be thinking, why does 85 characters matter? Well, with the adoption of automated slide printers and the greater usage of barcode readers during each step of the process, the amount of information embedded within your cassette barcode is extremely important. It enables the user to automate the input of all information required at the slide printer, for example, with one quick and easy scan. This removes the possibility of any transcription errors associated with manually entering data or handwriting on slides. It also eliminates the frustration of not being able to scan your barcode first time and compromise your tracking of the specimen. So I'm now going to talk about the smart inbuilt software that is on the printer, which provides the user with a smartphone-like experience that is really easy to use. So if I ask Bryn to zoom in on the interface, that's great, Bryn, thank you. We can see that we're greeted with the main page, and it's very self-explanatory here. I've already preloaded some information onto the cassette face, and cassette printing is available at the touch of a button, which would be play. That chooses on the hopper version, that chooses what is currently in the position for print. And we've also got the choice of hoppers that are listed here. The green tick highlighting that hopper 3 is currently in the correct position. The choice of entering the settings bar is at the bottom here. And this is where we can see what contained here is a number of icons that ensures the settings are easily navigated. If we move to the users, for example, what we can show, the inbuilt software allows a number of users to be added to the printer, each with their own set of permissions. So if we edit here, we can see that I can add myself as a scanning in with a barcode, for example, and also edit my permissions. Now, if I do log into there, I can choose another neat feature, which would show that my initials would then be on the face of the cassette, which is also another added bonus from the Pyramid Innovations printer. If we come out of that screen, we can go over to the templates. Now, I've got trial templates there, which is a template that I've designed for today, but it allows an unlimited number of template designs with the versatility to edit these with whatever information you may require. If I click the edit button, we can see that we can edit the fonts, the size, and the position of the information on the face of the cassette. Very quick and very easy. So as it can be done on the printer itself, it eliminates the frustration of designing labels on a PC or laptop, or even having to get your IT team involved just to change maybe the position or the boldness or the font, etc. So as I mentioned, I've prepared a basic template for today. I can now demonstrate how easy it is to add the required information to the face of the cassette and then print it. So if I scan my request form here into the barcode, we can see that the prefix and the case number fields on the cassette have been automatically scanned and read from the barcode on my request form. If I now touch the cassette face, I can choose my block letter from a drop-down menu. We've got 01 next to that, which is an automatic incrementer that I've set up, so we don't need to enter manually the block number. And if we move across, we've got the specimen codes, just as an example for today. If I hit tick on that, we're now in a position where we can print. And as you can see, the barcode here changed shape, which will contain all of the information that we have just discussed. Thank you, Brent. Just zooming out so we can show you the print. So I have two options here. I can either press the play icon to print, as we've already shown, which will choose the hopper that is highlighted with a green tick at the bottom, or I could choose to touch one of the hoppers on the row below, where we can move to, if we choose hopper 2, the carousel will move across and then print the cassette in the color or the variant that we have chosen, each of which providing the brilliant print quality. Now, if I want to create a range of cassettes, for example, we can touch the bottom button here and we can increase the sequence to whatever we want. As we can see, 3 cassettes have now built up in the queue. We press play and they will print. Without us having to touch any of the interface. So if I just wait for the last cassette to be printed, I can then talk to you about another key feature that Pyramid have included on the printer, but a really smart and innovative feature that is its ability to store protocols and easily access them to improve efficiency when printing on demand. So if I come out of here, I can rescan my request form as a different case. And if I hit the button here, I can access my protocol sections. Now, I've previously linked up to one of the specimen codes for a breast-wide local excision. And I told the printer that I wanted 4 cassettes each time I chose this code. So if I hit tick now, those 4 appear and we can then print them out. A really nice step that can really improve the efficiency in the lab. So if I ask Bryn to zoom out, we can now move over to the single hopper version that I'm sure you've seen in the background. Let's wait for Bryn to zoom in there, focus. All good, thank you very much. So as I said, we move over to the single hopper version now, where we can see that the interface and the run of the printer is almost identical. The only real difference being the number of hoppers that the unit can hold at one time. So do not let that put you off though, as this printer is still very deceiving and very fast. So we can move on to the loading and switching of the hoppers on this version, which is quick and easy. We would just remove the first one, input our second, and store the other hopper on the rack at the side, which assists us. So the single hopper also provides greater flexibility to the user with the option of bypassing the hopper entirely. So what we would do here is pull out a cassette, for example, and we can drop it into the cassette as so, which will automatically print out. So with that mode, we're sort of extremely valuable for those times where you need to reprint a single cassette or two, or if you require an extra one due to the size of the specimen. So a solution like this sort of doesn't just require the equipment to be perfect, but it also requires consumables that enhance the experience. So with these printers being thermal transfer technology, there is only two things to really think about. That's your cassette and the ribbon. So if we open the side of the printer here, I can ask Bryn to move the camera over, and we can show you how easy it is to access that ribbon. Thank you very much, Bryn. Let's take a look. We can see that the ribbon has a, if I just shine the light here, that's a red core that faces outwards, which ensures that you can never load the ribbon in wrong. So the other thing that we mentioned there is the other consumable, is cassettes. And if we move on to talk about the PI cassette, I'll ask Bryn to move over and show you what we have available. So we have three variants. As we can see here, a slotted version, a biopsy version, and a micro biopsy version. The cassettes are supplied in boxes of 2,000 and loaded onto threads of 40 cassettes, as I showed earlier, for ease of loading. We've also got these cassettes being available and compatible with the Super Mega Mothership for easy tracking and traceability of large specimens. Thanks, Bryn. Just ask you to place the camera back down there. That's great, thank you. So the printer's versatility continues with its range of connectivity options, whether that be via a USB or a network Ethernet cable, driving via software such as the Pyramid Innovation software or Nice Label from a PC or laptop, connectivity up to the LIS system in the lab, or middleware tracking systems such as Leica Cerebro or Roche Vantage, or you can even drive it from a Microsoft Word or Excel document using either a text or an image file. So that sort of gives us an overview of the printer and both printers, and some of the software features. I'll now move over to the Q&A session and answer some of the questions that we've received today. Thank you very much, Tim. So, first question I've got here is, how many prints of cassettes will one ribbon give me? So as we've just had a look at the ribbon inside will provide between 10,000 and 12,000 prints, and that ensures that the printer has a low ongoing running cost. I hope that answers that question. The next question is, what is the difference with the cassette for these printers in comparison to other cassettes available on the market? So firstly, I would say that this cassette is recommended by the manufacturer's Pyramid Innovations. The CellPath PI cassettes have been heavily researched and validated to provide the optimum print quality that we've already shown in the session so far. The CellPath PI cassette also has 4 raised dots on each corner of the cassette face. Now, that's there to hold the print surface off the surface of something like your block trimmer and allow removal of excess wax with no risk of damaging the quality of the print or the barcode, to ensure that it's always readable and scannable at whatever tracking system you're using. So I hope that answers that question. Right, we move on to the next question I've got here is, does the printer have a list or memory of the print history? So yes, it does. The printer has the option to download the last 30 days worth of use, and that will include things like what has been printed, when it was printed, and who printed it by the login of the user. This download is available in an excel.csv file. So I hope answers the question on memory of the printer. The last question I've got here is how many cassettes fit in a hopper? So as I've shown the threads that easily sort of, load into the cassette hopper, they are 40 cassettes with a slight gap at the top with maybe 2 or 3 extra cassettes. So that sort of concludes the Q&A questions that I've been given. If we haven't answered all of them, then please do get in touch with either your territory manager or myself, and we can come back to that. So I hope you find the information today valuable. And if you have any further questions, as I've just mentioned, please get in touch with either your territory manager or myself, and we'll be happy to help. Same goes for if you would like to trial any of the printers, just please reach out to us and we'll be there to happily help you. I'd also like to mention that if you have any feedback on the webinar as a whole, or have any suggestions on how we can improve these sessions going forward, please do let us know. So on behalf of all the team here at CellPath, especially myself and the marketing team, I would again like to thank you for joining us today, and we hope to hear from you soon. Thanks again and goodbye.